Tory, I was thinking, oh, it was Tory Day, but okay, the real reason, yeah.
Yeah, it's on.
Is it?
Yeah, because if it-
היה איזה short פרק, so let's go again for the פרק. וישמע בן שאול כי מת אבנר בחברון וילכו ידיו וכל ישראל נבהלו. So he heard it, as we say a few times, not given his name, but basically he was no one. ושני אנשים, שרי גדודים היו בן שאול. There were two generals with בן שאול, שם האחד בענה, שם השני ריחב, בני רימון הבארותי מבני בנימין, כי גם בארות תחשב על בנימין, as we explained it last time, בארות, על בירה of today, is a special place. It's a place that actually would belong to the Gibeonim, which is a different nation. They pretended themselves, when Yeshua came, that they are part of the people of the land. Later on, they became part of Shevet Binyamin, though they were strangers in a way, locals in another way, people who kept remembering what Shaul did to their nation, because Shaul ceased the covenant between the Gibeonim and Joshua. He killed many of them. However, for a while it was quite common that David is going to Achish. It happened that people from one nation joined the forces of another one. They became a part of the people of Shaul, not himself, but his child. And they now have two things in mind. One, to take revenge for what Shaul did to the Gibeonim, and the other one, opportunity. And that's how we explained why the story now is going in two directions. One from the perspective of people who take revenge, one from the perspective of people who seize the opportunity. So what are they doing? In Pasuk Dalet, Yonatan ben Shaul, the third generation already, the grandchild of Shaul, because this is the son of Yonatan, ben Neche Raglaim, ben 5 שנים היה בבוא שמועת שאול, ויונתן מישראל. So when Yonatan died with his father and his two brothers, the Omenet, his nanny, heard about it and she's running away. As we said, her fear was that once you manage to overcome the king, normally the entire family was destroyed. So she takes the little son, she ran away, but unfortunately she failed and he lost his ability to walk. ויפסח ושמו מפיבושת. וילכו בני רימון הבארותי, we go back to these generals, ריחב ובענה, ויבואו כחום היום אל בית איש בושת. Now we are talking about the son of Shaul, the one who could not go or did not go for some reason to the war of his father, and they are going to Ishboshet.
Is Ishboshet and Mephibosheth the same boy?
I don't think so. Ishboshet is a son of Shaul before. But we are going to see maybe it's him. Yeah, no, this is a grandson. So this is a grandson. This is a third. So Shaul Gan, the next generation Gan, and now we are talking about the only remnant of Beit Shaul. This is a third generation. So he was 5 years old. That's what why I had the mistake. He was 5 years old when he became crippled, but it took apparently few more years until he was already apparently able to trade and to do all kind of business. And this is when this story happens. Remember that Avner, it took 5 years to Avner until he met Yoav, and then another 2.5 years. So the guy was already 13, 14 years old. So, ויבואו הבית, I'm sorry, והנה באו עד תוך הבית, so they are going inside the house, לוקחי חיטים. So some explain that they pretended that they were לוקחי חיטים, that's how they managed to enter the house. ויקוהו אל החומש. So they were warriors. As we said before, this was the sweet spot for killers. We saw Avner killed Asael. We saw that Yoav killed Avner this way. ורחב ובענה אחיו נמלטו, and they ran away. And then, again the story, ויבואו הבית. We thought that in Pasuk Vav already they ran away. But now it's telling us again. ויבואו הבית, והוא שוכב על מיטתו בחדר משכבו, ויקוהו, וימיתוהו, ויסירו את ראשו. Everything is happening quickly, that's why we have a verb after verb after verb, ויקוהו, וימיתוהו, ויסירו את ראשו, ויקחו את ראשו, וילכו דרך הערבה כל הלילה. Everything in haste. ויביאו את ראש איש בושת אל דוד חברון, ויאמרו אל המלך, הנה ראש איש בושת, בן שאול אויבך. So here it says Ben Shaul, but apparently it's a descendant of Shaul. אשר ביקש את נפשך. ויתן השם לאדוני המלך נקמות היום הזה משאול ומזרעו. This is the opportunists. They believe that David is going to be very happy. If there was any chance that Beit Shaul is going to somehow to awake again in a certain point, even this chance is gone now. No child, no grandchild, it's over. And they are sure that he is going to reward him. And they believe that they fulfill heavenly mission. That's the worst people is people who are doing something for themselves and they talk about like Hashem. רוממות אל בגרונם וחרב פיפיות בידם. That's what we say in פסוקי דזימא. רוממות אל בגרונם, they are talking about God, and in their hand they hold a sword. They are killers. And that's exactly people like this. They are talking about ויתן השם לאדוני המלך נקמות. It's a godly thing. We actually fulfilled the will of God, who wanted to take revenge from Shaul. And basically what they want is a promotion. They lost their status by Shaul. They were generals. Now Shaul does not exist around. So what are they doing? They just jumping from the sinking ship to a safer one. ויען דוד את רכב ואת בענה אחיו בני רימון הבארותי ויאמר להם חי השם שבועה. He takes an oath. He's not going to regret it later. אשר פדה את נפשי מכל צרה. It's not you that you helping me. It's God that helped me to survive after Shaul, but I never meant to see Shaul as my enemy and to be happy when I see him and his children and grandchildren dying. כי המגיד לי לאמור, the one who come and tell me, הנה מת שאול, remember who was it in פרק א'? The נער המלאקי, והוא היה כמבשר בעיניו. He saw that he the person who bring me the great news. ואוחזה בו, I hold him, ואהרגהו בצקלג. If you remember, he asked his servant to kill him, but apparently, since he gave him the permission, it considered like he himself killed him. אשר לתיתי לו בשורה. He thought that he bring me a besora, good news, but the truth is exactly the opposite. So this guy actually fulfilled the will of Shaul. Shaul asked him to kill him, and nevertheless, he said, if you could hurt Mashiach Hashem, you deserve to die. And he killed him. So how much more so? It's a kal v'chomer. Af ki anashim reshaim, people like you, don't talk in the name of God. You are people who are looking for opportunity. Argu ish tzadik bebeito al mishkavo. He did not do anything to you. He was an innocent person. You killed him. Ve'ata לא אבקש את דמו מידכם. So now, obviously, if I killed the Na'ar Amaleki who fulfilled the wish of Shaul, I killed him. How much more so you who were killing a person who was innocent and righteous. וביערתי אתכם מן הארץ, which is exactly a repetition of the words in the Torah. Because the Torah says that if a person kill another person, the Beit Din has no permission to somehow to conceal it and to treat it with some mercy. וביערת הדם מקרבך. We have a mitzvah. The Beit Din, the court has a mitzvah. וביערת הדם מקרבך. You must do everything in order to cease the spill of blood. And David said, and he was now the king, I'm going to do, this is going to be one of my first things. וביערתי הרע מקרב אתכם מן הארץ. I'm going to do this mitzvah of the Torah, not to have any mercy on people who spill blood with no reason. ויצב דוד את הנערים, so he asked the people around him, ויהרגום. Not only that, they did something that everyone will remember it. ויקצצו את ידיהם ואת רגליהם, which is not only just killing a person, but dismembering him is like a way of bizayon, shaming the body of these people, something that in these days people saw and they remember. Something like this you remember for the rest of your life. ויתלו על הבריחה בחברון. This was the time. It's not like today, you know. The time was you did something bad and you wanted to set the standards of society. They not only killed them, dismembered them, but they put it for publicity around the Brecha Bechevron. Why in the Brecha Bechevron? Because this was a place that everyone came to. It was not like running water into the house. Everyone who wanted to drink water came to the Brecha Bechevron. Everyone saw it. And everyone understood how much David was upset with these people who killed someone from the family of Shaul. This was a very strong message of David. I am not going to build my kingdom upon killers like you, people like you. That's not my style, that's not what I want, and this is not why Hashem chose me to be the king of Israel. ואת ראש איש בושת לקחו, this trophy that they brought, he took, ויקברו בקבר אבנר בחברון. Again, he elevated him to a national hero. Not someone that David is happy with his death, but on the contrary, he's going to be buried in the national cemetery of Hebron. It might be, I thought about it later, why he put Avner in Hebron, Ish Boshet in Hebron. On one hand, it's showing them honor. He brought them to the national cemetery. Now the capital was Hebron. This was his capital. It was a very strong message that he wanted them to be buried next to him and to understand people that he give them the utmost respect. It might be also that it was important to have their graves in Hebron. Remember, on one hand it's very nice, but at the same time the minhag was that everyone want to be buried in his family nachala, in his family estate. That was ואתה תבוא אל אבותיך בשלום. Avner Bener, if we would ask him where he want to be buried, I believe that maybe he would believe to be in Binyamin, in the place where he belonged to. Why David brought him to Hebron? Because graves are something very dangerous. Even dead people with some glory around them, people who belong to the family that was the kings, the chief of staff of the previous general, their grave might be a place where people have memories. In a certain point they might want to renew the previous dynasty. The best thing is to have their grave next to you, and not in a place where other people might use it for all kind of riots, shaking the foundation of the new kingdom. So let's say it might be the two reasons. One, the reason is to show honor. The other one, to make sure that they are not going to be later recognized as the heroes of Shevet Binyamin, the rest of Israel. and this was to be on the safe side. Maybe.
I have a question.
Yes.
You told us that it was the norm in those days that if someone new took over and it was a complete change of dynasty to destroy, to kill, all the relatives of the previous leadership. So so that's what people expected. So if David wanted things to be different, if he had a new standard, why didn't he announce it to his people and say right up front, I know how things have been in the past, but it's going to be different with me. I want all the children of our previous leadership to remain safe in our kingdom. I don't want any harm to come to them,
So first of all, he's going to do it. We are going to see that he brings someone from the family of Shaul into his house
It's a
later.
little late now, though.
I'm sorry?
It's a little late now. He could have done that up front. He had to suspect that this was gonna happen.
And indeed, we are going to see that the Tanakh criticized him for this. He did not make it 100% clear. When he made it clear, it was too late, as you say. And we are going to see that even with Avner, that he was so upset, as I said in the last lesson, David hold responsibility for the situation. The fact that he let Yoav be upset without calming him down and or threaten him if he's going to do something, or explain the situation in a way that Yoav will come down, and he didn't do it. Eventually, all the punishment that he promised Yoav eventually came as boomerang to him and his family. So, you know what? Maybe the best announcement is exactly what he did to this Rechav and Baana. He said it in the most clear way, and again, with Yoav and Avner, it was the same. David did every effort to convince the people that what happened was not by his permission in any way. You know what? I'm pretty sure that Tanakh is not telling us, but it's easy to imagine that indeed David made it public. But to be honest, maybe the people themselves thought like us, like maybe David was just, there is a big difference between declarations and what you are doing. So David can say, oh, oy va'avoy lemi sheyaseh kacha v'kacha, but, deed speaks. Words are cheap, and David tried to do the maximum to show that indeed he will not allow something like this to happen again. And you know what? I do believe that Rechav and Baana saw that what happened with Avner was orchestrated by David. That's why they saw that if they bring the head of Mephibosheth to David, he's going to be happy. They read the whole politics in a different way. They understood that maybe Yoav did work as a shaliach, as a messenger of David. And yes, David was mourning, but really David was quite happy, because again, this was the standard of kings. David present new standards that were unknown in the ancient world. So they read the politic arena the way the world understood it, with a grain of salt, like, okay, he's mourning, but really he's actually quite happy about it. And that's why they allow themselves to kill him. And therefore, David has to go now in the punishment one step further, to kill them in a very embarrassing way, in order to show, no, it's not a joke. I mean what I say. Maybe that's the reason. Okay, let's go to Perek Hey, which is the first time that we are going to read about David as a real king.
You don't have it.
No, I have it. I made copies.
Here you go, David. One for you.
One for myself. And few here.
One for Ashes Hayu. Maybe one for you.
Here two, and here if someone it will come or will keep it.
2, 3. Extra.
Any more haze over there?
Anyone missing a copy? You are? Too bad.
Okay. I have more if we need.
You know, we have.
We need more.
You want to
Do we have here?
George?
Okay, yeah, we have enough. ויבואו כל שבטי ישראל אל דוד, חברונה. No, nothing was left from Shaul and his house. At this point, there was no even reason to dream that in the future, maybe, 20 years, a generation will replace Shaul. No children, no grandchildren. That's it. So all the Shvatim comes to David. I'm sorry?
There was Bat Shaul.
But Shaul, no one cared about women at this time, This was like, she's getting married and that's it. Like if you were not like son after son after son, it was hopeless. ויבואו כל שבטי ישראל אל דוד חברונה ויאמרו לאמור, הננו עצמך ובשרך אנחנו. We are your bone and your flesh. So who is coming to David to Hebron? שבטי ישראל. Who are the Shvatim? Okay, I just want you to see the difference between this and Pasuk Gimel in a second. So what do they say? עצמך ובשרך אנחנו. Now, this is not true when you talk about like they came from different tribes. Actually, there was always tension between Judah and the rest of the tribes. So what does it mean, עצמך ובשרך אנחנו? How come that they are flesh and bone of David? Bone and flesh?
From his tribe?
His tribe is David, Yehudah, so it's different. But remember one thing. He married the daughter of Shaul. So indeed, he was kind of part of Klal Israel. It was not that Judah was completely like excluded or different part. And עצמך ובשרך remind us actually the first marriage of Adam v'Chava, right? כי בשר מבשרי, עצם מעצמי. So it means through marriage we became one. Even if we are not maybe the same family exactly, because you come from the Shevet of Yehuda and we come from the rest of the Shvatim, but through marriage we became one.
It might make sense if you're talking about these are the family of Shoals coming to him. But I'm not sure it makes sense if you're talking about all the other
You know
Shvatim.
what it says? כל שבטי ישראל. I think that the Tanakh say כל שבטי ישראל, including Binyamin. It says with no difference. And they say, גם אתמול, גם שלשום. So when they come to negotiate with him and to tell him that actually they want him to be their king, they talk first of all about the fact that he is part of the old family of Shaul. So עצמך ובשרך, you after all a son-in-law of Shaul. Number 2, גם אתמול, גם שלשום, it's already known from the past. בהיות שאול מלך עלינו, when Shaul was our king, and we accepted him obviously because he was from Israel, אתה היית המוציא והמביא את ישראל. You were the one who actually מוציא ומביא. מוציא ומביא means what? For a war. מוציא to a war, bring back from a war. Successfully. ויאמר השם לך, אתה תראה את עמי את ישראל, ואתה תהיה לנגיד על ישראל. Number 3, we know that God actually promised you to be the next king. So they talk about being family. They talk about the experience that he already gained as a general, even in the time of Shaul. Everyone remembered היכה שאול באלפיו ודוד ברבבותיו. He got the reputation of a great warrior, even though Avner was the chief of staff, but David was famous until the whole episode between Shaul and David started. David was known to be a great warrior and a great general. And number 3, ויאמר השם לך, אתה תראה את עמי את ישראל. And we know that God promised it to him. As we said already, Abigail Remember when Abigail met David, she said, I know that Hashem said that one day you are going to be the king. That's why it will be inappropriate if you are going to kill Nabal and to kill his house. You don't start being a king by massive killing of a family. How did she know? Everyone knew. It made waves. People knew, one tell to the other the story about Shmuel coming to the house of Ishai. So in the beginning, everyone don't want to talk about it openly, especially when Shaul is around and they see that he is obsessive with this story of David. But now Shaul is not there. No one is going to take the place of Shaul anymore. Now it's time to admit openly that they know for a long time, and this, by the way, what Avner told David in the previous chapter, we all know that God promised you to be the king. So it's time to fulfill it. It's nice to use the word כי אתה תראה את עמי ישראל, because if you remember when Moshe is asking Hashem to appoint a leader after he will die, what does he say? He says the same idea. He said, יפקוד השם אלוקי הרוחו לכל בשר איש על העדה, אשר יצא לפניהם ואשר יבוא לפניהם, someone that is going to conduct their wars, and ולא תהיה עדת השם כצאן אשר אין לה רועה. People are like sheep. If they have no leadership, they are going astray. They are going everywhere. So what Moshe is asking, a person who is אשר יצא ואשר יבוא, a warrior, and the second one is a person who is a leader, who can be like a tzon, because in a way it's a little bit different. A warrior normally is not a ro'eh tzon, who need to have more mercy and really to handle the people. But this is a king of Israel. He's a warrior. At the same time, he's ro'eh. He's a shepherd. He cares about everyone. He makes sure that everyone is safe, everyone gets his food. This is a king of Israel. ויבואו כל זקני ישראל אל המלך חברונה. So all the זקנים are coming to the מלך חברונה. What is changed from Pasuk Aleph to Pasuk Gimel? This is a second delegation. You see that, right? Who are they?
The leaders,
The leaders. Who came first?
the people.
The people. What does it mean? There were two stages here. One was apparently more the boards, I would say. The people, the executives, the people who want to see maybe the conditions, what is going to happen to the shvatim. And then when it comes to sign the contract and to sign the papers, then you send the spiritual leaders, where all the details were already worked out. After the statements are coming, then the zkenim, the real leaders of the shevet are coming and they are going to sign the paper, so to speak. And indeed, ויכרות להם המלך דוד ברית בחברון לפני השם. The covenant in Am Yisrael is not only between two parties. Hashem is part of it. A real covenant is a covenant with God. So David makes the covenant with the other shvatim, but at the same time he reminds them that this is a brit with Hashem. A king is not just a leader who makes sure that there is a social order. His job as a king is to represent God to the people. So God must be part of this covenant. וימשכו את דוד למלך על ישראל. This is, we are really in historic pasuk, because that's it. Everything that we learn until now just led to this great moment, where David becomes the king of the entire nation. And now we have actually psukim that already are reflection upon everything that happened from this moment until the end, to understand how important was this moment. Because unlike Shaul, who was for few years, ben 30 shana David במולכו, quite a young person, 40 shana malach. He was a king for 40 years, until he was 70 years old. 40 years, this is a substantial time. We know that 40 is like 40 yom of Moshe Rabbeinu, the 40 years that Bnei Israel are going in the desert. This is like a substantial amount of time. בחברון מלך על יהודה 7 שנים. ו6 חודשים, so 7.5 years. ובירושלים מלך 33 שנה על כל ישראל ויהודה. And then the Pasuk is telling us what is going to happen and what we are going to learn now. After 7 years in Hebron, he was in Yerushalayim for 33 years, which you might ask, okay, 7.5 plus 33 is 40.5. So, but 40 years, as I say, they want to mention the fact that it was like a unit, a substantial unit of time. So 40.5 looks very to the details. 40 years mean, remember the 40 years of transition, Bnei Israel from Yetziat Mitzrayim coming to their land. These 40 years, in a way, are the transition of Bnei Israel into establishing the kingdom.
Do we have a sense, the time period between Perek Dalet and Perek A, and also the time period between Aleph and Gimel?
It's not so clear. I think that Rashi is talking about it. I don't have the Tanakh here, how long it was. The Mefarshim are debating between 2.5 years, because it said elsewhere that the son of Shaul was the king for 2.5 years, or 2 years, 2.5 years. And the question is how, after that, like it took the time to the people to come. Well, apparently a few months, not more than that. Because they apparently came right away to David. They wanted the king to be responsible for the entire nation. So a few more months, I believe. Maybe another half a year between, all the statement and the diplomats are doing all the agreements, and I'm sure that they had all kind of agreements, and until they made the ceremony to crown David. Maybe, I don't know. My guess is that maybe it's this half a year. The half a year of transition between they offered him to be the king until they made all the agreements, and then he moves to Yerushalayim for 33 years.
Do you really think there were contracts at that time, or were taking the year 2018 and applying it to this
No
period?
doubt that they had contracts. So you see it already in the Torah with Avimelech and Abraham. I don't know if it was by paper or by parchment, but apparently yes. Apparently they had contracts. And we know from the other archaeologists will tell you that they used to write all kind of letters and agreements and tax letters already then, not in the sophisticated way that we have today with typewriters and all this, but this is Sofrei HaMelech. What do you think Sofrei HaMelech are doing? They are not just writing every day what happened. The chronicles are important part of Sofrei HaMelech, but it's a kingdom. Well, what do you think a king is doing? It's like signing contracts, make decisions, someone has to sign it, and it's a lot about economy and things like this. So for sure, they had a kind of written contract, I believe. And if it was not written, it was made in a way that there was a commitment that was well known to all the people. Listen, the Tanakh is not dealing exactly with the details, how they run the house, how they run the kingdom, but it was not very different from any other kingdom. I'm pretty sure about that. וילך המלך ואנשיו ירושלים, אל היבוסי יושב הארץ. They are going to Yevus. Because Yerushalayim at this time is not ours. Yerushalayim was part of the Yevusi. ויאמר לדוד לאמור, so they send them back. So he tells them, guys, we want Yerushalayim. We want Yerushalayim. And the Yevusi said, forget about it. לא תבוא הנה, כי אם אסירך, unless you remove העברים והפסחים. The blind and the פסחים, what is the translation here of פסחים? Lame. לאמור, לא יבוא הנה דוד. You are not coming here. We are not for sure we are not going to, because what David apparently offered them is the following. Open the city. We are going to take over the city. We are going to make kind of contract with you, but the city is ours. Remember that when Joshua conquered the land, basically the land was supposed to be entirely us. But he was not successful. And this was an island that they did not manage to conquer. Now, if you have in your head the map of Israel, you will understand how important it is. Where is Judea? Where was David at this time? In Hebron. Hebron, Be'er Sheva, Lachish, which is Kiryat Gat of today, where the border with the Plishtim. What is a northern Shevet from Yehuda? They come, so, Beit Lechem, Hebron, Be'er Sheva, Lachish, which is not far away from Ashkelon, and back to Beit Lechem, up to Beit Shemesh. Beit Shemesh was the end of Nachalat Yehuda, and back to the mountains of the Gush, which is again part of Judea. What is the next Shevet?
Binyamin.
Binyamin, right. Where Binyamin is sitting?
Yerushalayim.
Around Jerusalem. Ramallah, which is Ramot, Be'erot, Albira, Aljib, Giv'on. You have from Hebron or Beit Lechem, to be more precise, which is the northern part of Judea, up to Ramallah. You have about 12 kilometers? What happened there? It was part of Yevusi. So today we talk also about Retzef, like continuum. You cannot have a country which is divided like artificially to two. Basically, there was a reason also why Judea developed differently than Samaria, whereas the rest of the Shvatim, because indeed there was a barrier in between. And there was no even entrance from the western side, because remember, over there were sitting the Plishtim. So imagine something around this. There was like a distinctive chunk of Judea that ended around between, I would say, Beit Lechem, maybe Gilo of today, going south and to the west towards Kiryat Gat, where the Plishtim are, through Beit Shemesh, going back to Be'er Sheva. That's Judea. And then about 10 kilometers to the north, you have the Shevet of Binyamin. In between, sitting Yerushalayim and the area of Yerushalayim, and over there is the Yevusi. David wants to be the king of Israel and Judea. This must be removed. This gap between Judea and Israel, a geographical gap, is just disturbing, and he must remove it. So he sent to the Yevusi, he said, listen, I'm going to take it. You better come with me to agreement, and if not, we will see what will happen. And he didn't know what will happen. What do they say? Forget about it. We are sitting here for a reason. Why indeed Joshua was not managing to eliminate them? Because they were in a strong place. Yerushalayim was sitting in a very, very strong place. Were you in Ir David? Yeah. Did you see the magnificent foundations of Ir David before David arrived? This is like magnificent, magnificent structure. You know what? I brought with me my computer. If we will be able, I'm going to show you like one clip on YouTube, which is very, very interesting to understand. This was like a walled city, built on massive rock, and the towers around, because we found the towers, everyone who visited in Ir David, we know where the towers were, and it was impossible to conquer a city like this.
And that was before David was king there? That was
Before David. So David now is planning to take over Yerushalayim. So in this pasuk, we will stop for a second and we will try to understand now two things. Why Yerushalayim? So part of it I already explained. David has to overcome this barrier of Yerushalayim between Judea and Samaria. Number one. But there was another reason, which is very, very important. You know, we don't have the name of Yerushalayim in the Torah. The Torah says, "Bamakom asher yivchar Hashem," many, many times. but we don't know what is this place. And why? Why the Torah did not say, on Har Moriah, in Yerushalayim, there you are going to build the Beit HaMikdash? Why the Torah never revealed the place? There are few perushim, but I'll tell you what the Ibn Ezra say, because I think it's very much the pshat, and we will bring an example to this from United States. The Ibn Ezra said, you know what will happen if Hashem will tell them in the desert, when you cross the Jordan, the place, the most important place, is going to be Yerushalayim. These are the Jewish people. The people of Naphtali will say, what? Not in my property, are you kidding me? The people of Asher will say, what did we just hear? You are not going to give it to us, so we are not coming with you to the land. We are looking for other places. The Jewish people, the Jewish tribes, everyone felt he's entitled to this. To be the Beit HaMikdash in his place. Everyone has something incredible about him, which is very true. And Hashem was afraid that the 40 years in the desert are going to be just the introduction to the many years of fighting. That was as Ibn Ezra said. If Hashem would say it's going to be in Yerushalayim, they will fight, they will kill themselves before they will enter the land. Ma pitom, Yerushalayim is not mine, it's going to be in Yehuda, we are going to show you. They will kill the Yehuda will kill them. The Jewish people are difficult people to deal with sometimes. It's very true. So Hashem said, listen, we don't know. It's a makom asher yivchar, and indeed, you need a king to avoid fights over it. That's why even Shaul was a weak king, we don't hear anything about any effort to find Beit HaMikdash. Why does he need such a trouble? Like to decide that Beit HaMikdash is going to be here, he knows what does it mean. Politically, he's going to be finished. You need a strong king like David to say it's going to be here, and even David thought about an unbelievable idea. You know what is the best place? A place which is not Jewish. We are going to take a city which belongs to no one. No one will say, you see, the Beit HaMikdash is by me, who are you? No. David wanted to start from scratch. A place that belonged to no one. No one will have this feeling that it's mine. And Baruch Hashem, there is a place like this. Yevus. It's between Judea and Israel. It belongs to no one, so no one is going to feel good about it or bad about it if later it's not going to be his. So we all start from the very beginning. What did they do in the United States? Washington, D.C., it's the same idea. There was a very good article this week about many similarities between America and the Tanakh, yes. The Bible, how much they were inspired. I think this was one, I'm not sure if this was one of them, but certainly this idea is inspired by David HaMelech. To find a place that is natural, does not belong to this state, not to this state. We will make it like district by itself, which is very smart. And it caused some problems that you see how David is going to conquer them later. Because we know, like in Washington, you don't want to be after 4 p.m. I don't know if today is very different, but a place which is independent and does not belong to any shevet also caused some troubles. But we will keep it to 2 Prakim from now. And they disagree with it. They say, no way, you are not coming here. Ki im hasircha ha'ivrim v'apisrim. Unless you remove the blind and the lames. What does that mean? Let me tell you. The Mefarshim have all kind of perushim about it. We will bring 3 of them. The first one is Rashi. The Rashi said, the people of Yevus were descendants of the Plishtim. The Plishtim had a covenant with Abraham, with Yitzchak. Avimelech, Melech Plishtim, managed to extract or to take from Abraham a promise, אם תשקול לנכדי ולניני, that even for my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren, we are going to have a covenant that your children, because he saw that Abraham will be a great nation, are not going to affect my descendants. So, he says to him, the Yevusi said, we have a covenant. You want to come and to take Yerushalayim from us? Sorry. We have a covenant with your forefathers, with Yitzchak, who also had a treaty with Avimelech, with Jacob, who committed himself too. Now, who was the Iver who couldn't see? Remember who the Torah said? Yitzchak. Yitzchak could not see, therefore the whole episode with Yaakov and Esav, right? That they take the bracha, because Vayi Yitzchak Zaken, Velo Yachol Lirot Mizoken, he could not see. This is the blind, says Rashi. And who is the Piseach? The one who could not walk properly? Yaakov, exactly. Remember his fight with the angel. So the Ivrim and the Pischim were kind of reminders to Yitzchak and Yaakov, who made treaty with them. So how can you violate this treaty? It's a little bit hard to understand it because, let me tell you that later in Pasuk, this is the Perush of Rashi. Rashi said, the Pasuk said, where is it? Lo yavo David ena, number 6, 6 is here. In Pasuk Chet, ויאמר דוד ביום ההוא, כל מכה יבוסי ויגע בצינור, everyone who is going to hit the Yebusites, ויגע בצינור, which we are going to explain the next time, ואת הפסחים ואת העברים שנואי נפש דוד. The Pischim and the Ivrim, the lame and the blind, were hated by David. It's a little bit hard to say that you are talking about Yitzchak and Yaakov, and he hated it. Right? But this is Rashi. This is Rashi. Rashi said that it was just like a metaphor to a covenant, a very old covenant between the forefathers of the Yebusites and Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. Nice explanation. The other one that the Radak bring by the name of the Ibn Ezra, he says, they mock David. They say, even we are going to guard this city with blind people and lame people, you are not going to make it. You are not able to take over this city, even if the guardians are completely incompetent. It's so strong, it's so fortified, that we can actually put on the city people who are unable to fight, and you will not be able to make it. It's an interesting pshat, and some say that we have actually from the Greeks few testimony that sometimes when they wanted to demoralize the enemies, they put people with all kind of blemishes and lamed on the walls to show them, to mock them, that you cannot fight this city. There is a third Perush which is very interesting, and I would say that as much as you think that the Perush of Rashi is a little bit far-fetched, Yigal Yadin was the first chief of staff in Israel. Not only that, he was a great archaeologist and a great scientist. Actually, his father, Yigal Sukenik, not Yigal Sukenik, he was Yigal Sukenik, which changed to Yadin because Ben Gurion did not allow any not Hebrew name to be one of the leadership people. That's why everyone had to change his name to a Hebrew name. But his father was Sukenik, Yaakov Sukenik, I think, or Chaim Sukenik, and he was a great professor in Hebrew U. He was archaeologist, his son was archaeologist. He found Me'arot Bar Kochba. It's very interesting. So he says something very interesting. That indeed, in the ancient world, when you made a covenant, a serious covenant with another city, with another nation, they took these poor people and they brought them to the signing of the agreements, which meant if you are not going to keep this agreement, you are going to look like these people. So we have proofs that usually they took a person who is deaf, a person who is blind, and they used to bring them to the ceremony of signing agreements. So he believed that it was a way to say something like, we have kind of agreement which might hint to the idea of Rashi, a very old one. You have to keep it. Because otherwise, you are going to be like the Ivrim and the Pischim. Interesting modern Perush, which I would say, once we see it in other places, it's quite appealing. And I like this Perush. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's, the Pasuk is so strange, Ivrim v'Pischim, that we need some explanation. Why it was Snu'ei Nefesh David? How Rashi deal with it? I'll tell you what, and this is a very, very important. I thought a lot about how the Pasuk can say in Pasuk Chet that David hated the Ivrim and the Pischim, if indeed it means to Yitzchak and Yaakov, the old agreement that they had with the Plishtim and the Jebusites who were their descendants. This is something very, very important. You see, the eye sometimes see a person. What are you attracted to? Some people will be attracted to the external and sometimes to the unpleasant sides of another person, of another leader. What they are going to see? They are going to see that Moshe Rabbeinu was kvad peh and kvad lashon, but they will not listen to what he has to say. And you know, it's the third time that I will bring the beautiful Ibn Ezra. The Ibn Ezra said, why the Torah was given by Moshe? Because Moshe was kvad peh, kvad lashon, he was stuttering. Because Hashem wanted to make sure that the people accept the Torah, not because he was a great orator, because he was such a great speaker, but because the content of what he had to say. That's why people accepted Moshe Rabbeinu. The Torah is so powerful and so true that the people ignored completely the blemishes, this stuttering of Moshe Rabbeinu, and listened to his words, the eternal words of the Torah. What the Yebusite saw in Yitzchak and Yaakov? Instead of seeing the great people they were, the people who were so close to Hashem, who actually invented and kept this new philosophy, what did they look into? They looked into that Yitzchak at the end of these days was such a weak person because he was blind. But this is Yitzchak. What did they look on Yaakov? They did not see a person who struggled all his life and managed to establish a family that is going to be so powerful and so such a source of blessing to the world. What do they see? That he is lame. That's why David hated it, because David was the person who always looked into things, not how they look like. A great person look on the content, on what is behind the eye see. And that's why he hated the fact that Plishtim are using Yitzchak and Yaakov externally instead of looking to what was their contribution to the world. I think it's until this very day, you know, some people look on such insignificant things, which is a very small part of the picture, and they ignore the most important things. And think about like the Jewish people, how the Goyim see us sometimes. Yes, you know what, we are not perfect people. Sometimes we have this and that. But how can you ignore the contribution of the Jewish people to the world when you look upon the bigger picture? You can see just the Ivrim, the Pischim, that's what characterized the nation. That here we did something which it was not something to write home about, and here, okay, let's say that it's true. But see the bigger picture. Who are the Jewish people? What was their contribution? That's what David really hated, that people are looking on the Ivrim and the Pischim. Maybe it's a drasha of a rabbi, maybe it's a perush, it's something in between. I actually, as I said, I wanted to show you the Ir David, but really, next time we are going to explain how David brilliantly took over Yerushalayim, how indeed he managed actually to take Yerushalayim. It's an unbelievable story. But for this, Baruch Hashem, we have today, we are in Yerushalayim. I'm going to show you exactly what most researchers and experts for Tanakh believe was the way of David to enter this fortified city and to take it over. Which is amazing. If we think about Milchemet Sheshet HaYamim, of a war of a small nation against 7 armies, you are going to see that David HaMelech acted exactly the same, with the same idea. You attack immediately, unexpectedly, and you finish it right away. So let's wait for next week, B'ezrat Hashem. Erev Tov lekulam, 7:30 next week, B'ezrat Hashem.